Okay, so for the first question, we are asked to find the volume of the cuboids. Now, for the cuboids, the length, breadth, and height may vary. So, for finding the volume, we use the formula volume is equal to L multiplied by B multiplied by H, because a cuboid has different length, different breadth, different height. So in this case, we are given with the length. For the first part, the length is given as 12, the breadth is given as 10, and the height is given as 8. And when we multiply 12 with 10, we get 120, and 120 with 8 gives us 960. Now the unit is given as centimeters, so when you multiply centimeter 3 times, centimeter multiplied by centimeter multiplied by centimeter, it will give you centimeter cube. So the unit for volume is centimeter cube because it's three-dimensional, so the unit is written as centimeter cube. So now for the second one, again we have to find the same thing, that is the volume for the cuboid. In this case, the length is L multiplied by B multiplied by H is given in decimals. So it is 4 multiplied by 2.5 multiplied by 1.5. Now 4 multiplied by 2.5 is 10, and 10 multiplied by 1.5 is, if you forget the decimal and multiply it, simply 10 multiplied by 15, you will get 150. And after decimal we have one number, so we will put the decimal over here, so it will be 15.0. that means it is 15. You can ignore the zeros after the decimal point, so it is 15 meter cube. The volume for this cuboid is 15 meter cube. Now for the third one, you have given with the length as 2 meter 50 centimeter, two different units, right? And the breadth is in meters, 1 meter, and the height is in centimeter, 75 centimeter. It's better to convert the bigger unit into a smaller one because it's much easier than the other way around, because in that way you will get the decimals, but in this way you will get the whole numbers. So let's see. The length is 2 meter 50 centimeter. 50 centimeters already written in centimeter. We need to convert this one. 2 meter to centimeter. Now as we know, 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, right? So what we will do is 2 meter will be equal to 2 multiplied by 100, that is 200 centimeter. Now 200 centimeter plus 50 centimeter is 250 centimeter, right? So we will write it this way. And in the second part we are given as 1 meter. 1 meter of course means 100 centimeter. So for finding the volume, it will be L multiplied by B multiplied by H, which is, in this case, length is 250 centimeter, breadth is 100 centimeter, and the height is 75 centimeter. Now when you will multiply these three together, that is 250 multiplied by 100, you will get 25,000, and 25,000 multiplied by 75 will give you 1,875,000, right? Coming to question number 2, it is said that a tin has dimensions 2 meter, 1.5 meter by 1 meter. How many liters of kerosene oil can it hold? So simply we first need to find the volume of the tin, that is volume of tin. Look, the dimensions are different, that means it's in the shape of a cuboid, so that will be 2 multiplied by 1.5 multiplied by 1. Now 2 multiplied by 1.5 is 3, right? And 3 multiplied by 1 is 3, so it will be 3 meter cube. Now see, the volume is 3 meter cube, but the answer we have to give is in liters. Now we must know that 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liters, right? So what we will do is we will convert 3 meter cube into liters. Now 3 meter cube into liters will be 3 multiplied by 1000, which is 3000 liters. This is how we will do this question. Now in this question, a tank is 5 meters long, 3 meters wide and 1.5 meter high. How many cubic meter of water can it hold? Again, we need to find the volume of the tank, that is volume of the tank is equal to L multiplied by B multiplied by H, which is 5 meter multiplied by 3 meter multiplied by 1.5 meter. Now 5 multiplied by 3 is 15 and 15 multiplied by 1.5 is 15 multiplied by 1.5 is 22.5, right? 22.5. Now it will be in meter cube, the unit, right? Now we have to say how many cubic meters of water can it hold, and of course we don't need to convert it. You can say that 22.5 meter cube is the capacity of the tank. Okay, so next we have a block of wood that is 75 by 50 by 40 centimeter. How many cubes of side 0.1 meter can be carved out of it? So firstly, again, we need to find the volume of the wooden block. For example, this is the wooden block, right? And for this we have to find the volume, which is volume of wooden block is equal to 75 multiplied by 50 multiplied by 40, and when you multiply these three together, that is 75 by 50 by 40, you will get 1,50,000. 1,50,000. This is what you will get. So 1,50,000 is what you will get. Now what we have to do is first write the unit. Now what we have to do here is we have to carve wooden cubes from this, like this. We have to carve some wooden pieces from this, which will be in the shape of a cube, right? Which will be in the shape of a cube. Now it's telling that one side of the cube should be 0.1 meter. Now see, the unit we used for the wooden block was centimeter, so we will convert this 0.1 meter to centimeter. It will be 0.1 multiplied by 100, because 1 meter has 100 centimeter, and when you will multiply it, you will get 10 a centimeter, right? So that means for the cube also we need the volume. So firstly we will find the volume of the cube. Volume of the cube is equal to 10 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10, which is equal to 1000 centimeter cube. Now it is asked that how many cubes of side disc can be carved out of it. So for the quantity what we do is for the quantity, what we do is we divide both of the volumes together. That is, we divide the bigger volume with the smaller, that is 150,000 divided by 1000, right? So in that way, what we know is we know how many cubes can be carved out. So we can cancel these three zeros with these three zeros and we will get 150. So that means 150 cubes can be carved out from the wooden block that was given in the question. So this is how you will be finding the quantity. Now this question is simple, where you have to find the volume of the cubes whose edges are given. Edges are where two surfaces meet. You can say one side of the cube. So in this case we are given with the cube, and cube has all the sides of equal length. So we can say volume of cube is equal to L multiplied by L multiplied by L, just like the Rubik's cube where all the sides are of equal length. So we have to find the volume by multiplying the lengths together. That is, in this case we are given with, in the first case we are given with 1.5, so we will multiply 1.5 with 1.5 and again one more time 1.5. So 1.5, 1.5 and 1.5 will give you 3.375. Again, forget the decimals and then multiply it and then put the decimal point over here, because we have three digits after decimal, so we will put it in this way. So then we have to write the unit, which is meter cube, right? Now coming to part 2, the number that's given is 60, so it's easy to multiply. Volume of cube is equal to 60 multiplied by 60 multiplied by 60. Now 60 multiplied by 6 is 3600, and 3600 multiplied by 60 is 216,000. 216,000, and the unit will be in centimeter cube, right? Now in the last question we are given with a mixed fraction 2 by 3. We need to convert it first. That is 2 multiplied by 3 and then add 2 with it. That is 2 3 is 6 and 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 over 3. Now we need to find the volume by multiplying 8 by 3 with 8 by 3 and again 8 by 3. Now 8 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 8 is 512, and 3 is 993 is 27. And when you will divide it, let's see what you get, but you have to write it in mixed fraction, so let's do it. You have 27 and you have 512. 27 multiplied by 1 is 27, because 27 multiplied by 2 will give you a bigger number. Then you have to subtract these. 51 minus 27 will give you 24, right? Now 24 is a smaller number, take this 2 here, and now 27 multiplied by 8 will give you 216, and if you subtract 242 and 216, you will get 26. So that means I can write this in mixed fraction as 1826 over 27, and the unit will be of course meter cube, because meters is given in the question. Now in this question, a cubical wooden block of edge 2.1 meter, that side is cut into small cubes, each having edge of 35 centimeter. We have to determine the number of small cubes that can be obtained. Now this resembles the previous question that we did. So what we have to do is we have to find the volume of the wooden block first, and then the small cubes, and then we will find the quantity. So let's do it. Volume of wooden block is equal to, now this is given in meters now again, and but the other one, the cube's edge is given in centimeter, so better to convert 2.1 meters into centimeters first. That is 2.1 multiplied by 100, because 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, and this will give you 210 and centimeter. So that means volume of the wooden block will be 210 multiplied by 210 multiplied by 210. Okay, now if you will try to multiply these numbers, you can, but you will get a very bigger number. So I will tell you to avoid it. Avoid multiplication. So you have to avoid multiplication here, and now come up with the volume for the small cubes. Volume of small cubes. Now the volume of small cubes will be 35 multiplied by 35 multiplied by 35. Again, you can multiply these three and get an answer, but I will again ask you to avoid that, because I have tried it before and it gives us a very large number when multiplying 210 and multiplying these three 35s together. So what we will do is to determine the quantity of cubes. What we will do is we will divide the larger volume with the smaller volume. The larger volume is 210, 210 and 210, and the smaller one is 35 by 35 by 35. So what we are gonna get is, let's see, 7 5 is 35, 7 3 is 21, and 7 3 is 21, and this is 0. 7 5 is 35, 7 3 is 21, this 0 again here. Okay, again 5 1 is 5, 5 6 is 30, 5 1 is 5, 5 6 is 30, 5 1 is 5, 5 6 is 30. So that means you have to multiply 6 with 6 and again with one more 6. 6 6 is 36, and 36 multiplied by 6 will give you 216. So that means 216 cubes can be extracted or cut down from this wooden block. Coming to this question, a storage room is 6 meters long, 5 meters wide, and 3.5 meters high. How many tanks of capacity 120 liters each can it hold? So again, if we notice, the question is simple, but there is one problem, which is the units are not the same. So we need to convert this meter cube when finding the volume into liters. So let's do it. We did it in the question 2, I think, so we will do it here as well. So let's do volume of storage room. Volume of storage room is 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 3.5, which is 30 multiplied by 3.5. Now 30 multiplied by 3.5 will give you 105. 105, and the unit is meter cube. Now in the other case, we are given in liters, and we are asked how many tanks of capacity 120 liters each can it hold. So what we will do is we will convert 105 meter cube to liters. Now we know that 1 meter cube has 1000 liters. So what we will do is 105 multiplied by 1000, which is 105,000, right? Now this is converted into liters. Now again we have to find how many, that is the quantity. So quantity, or you can say capacity, is equal to 105,000 divided by 1, and divided by, again, what is given, 120, right? So this cancels with this. Now 2 6 is 12, and 2 5 is 10, 2 is 4, and 2 5 is 10, and this 0. Now 5 5 is 10, 11 12. This can you can cancel this with the table of 3. 5250 divided by 6, 2 3 is 6, and 2 is 4, 5, 2 6 is 12, 2 is 4, 2 5 is 10. Now 3 1 is 3, 3 8 is 24, and 3 6 is 18, 3 7 is 21, sorry, and 3 5 is 15. So that means you will get 875. So that means 875 tanks of capacity 120 liters can it hold, right? Coming to question number 8, how many 3 centimeter cubes can be cut out of a cube whose volume is 135 cubic centimeter? Now this question is easy because the volume is already given in cubic centimeters, and it has been asked that how many 3 centimeter cubes can be cut out of it. So that means this volume needs to be found. So what is this? Volume of cubes. Volume of cubes is equal to 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3, which is 27 centimeter cube. Now how many 3 centimeter cubes can be cut out of a cube? The bigger cube has the volume. Bigger cube's volume is 135 centimeter cube. So what we need to do is how many, again the quantity. So the quantity will be, quantity of cubes will be, again the larger volume, which is 135, divided by the smaller 27. Now this can be cancelled with the table of 3. 9 is 27, 3 4 is 12, and 3 5 is 15, and 9 1 is 9, 9 5 is 45. That means 5 cubes can be cut out of a cube whose volume is 135 cubic centimeters, right? Okay, for this question, the walls and ceilings of a room are to be plastered, and the length, breadth, and height of the room are this, and this, respectively. We have to find the cost of plastering at the rate of 100 square per meter. 100 per square meter, sorry. So for this question, we need to draw the room so that we understand how it is gonna work. For example, this is the room. Okay, let's try this using. Okay, so this is the room. For example, it's a cuboid, and let's use different color to show the length, breadth, and height. Now for the height, I am using the yellow one. Now this is height, this is height, this is height, and this is height. Okay, and for the length, I'm using the light blue color. This is the length, this is the length, and this is the length, and this is the length, right? And for the height, for the width, sorry, for the width, I'm using the purple color. This, and this. For the width, I'm using the purple color. So let me write it. So this was the height, and blue one is the length, and purple one is the width, or you can say breadth. Okay, now let's do it. Let's find the surface area of each of these surfaces to find out what will be the cost of plastering the room. So area of the left wall, that is this one. I want to find the area of this wall, so it will be this yellow one multiplied by this purple one. Yeah, right, that is B multiplied by yellow one is H, right? Now B in the question is given as 6 and H is 4, that is 6 4 is 24 meter square. Now if the left wall has the area 24 meter square, same will be of the right wall, right? Same will be of right wall. This was left wall. So for the right wall also, the area will be 24 meter square. Now when you will sum these, it will be 4 4 is 8 and 2 2 is 4, 48 meter square. Okay, now let's find the area of the back wall and the front wall. Back wall and the front wall, right? Front wall. Now area of the back wall. The area of the back wall will be, now look carefully, the area of the back wall is this yellow one multiplied by this blue one, because it's rectangle. So rectangle's area is this side multiplied by this side, right? So the blue one multiplied by the yellow one. Now the blue one multiplied by the yellow one is L multiplied by H, right? So I will say it is L multiplied by H, and L is in the question, L is 9 and H is 4, and 9 multiplied by 4 is 36 meter square. Now the area of the back wall and the front wall will be the same, so I will say area of front wall is also 36 meter square, and when you will sum them, you will get 72 meter square, right? And when you will sum them, you will get 72 meter square. Okay, now we are left with the wall, the ceiling, and the floor. Now the floor is excluded, right? The floor is excluded. I will cross on this. We have to only find the area of the ceiling. So area of the ceiling. Now area of the ceiling will be the blue multiplied by the purple. Now the blue one is the length and the purple one is the breadth. That is length multiplied by breadth is 9 multiplied by 6, which is 54 meter square. Right. Okay, now what we need to do is add the areas. That will be the surface area. Surface area will be the total area. That is 48 plus 72 plus 54. Now let's see what is this. When you add 48, 54 and 72, you get 174 meter square. Now you have to tell the cost, and the per rate cost is 100. So that means 174 multiplied by 100 will be the cost. The cost will be 174 multiplied by 100, which is 174, 1,74,100, right? So this will be the answer, and the unit will be written in rupees 17400. Now for question number 10, find the volume and total surface area of cuboid whose dimensions are 2 meter, 80 centimeter and 60 centimeter. See, these two units are in centimeter, but this one is meters, so we need to convert this first. So 2 meter to centimeter will be 2 multiplied by 100 is 1 centimeter is 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, so it will be 200 centimeter. Now for volume we multiply these three dimensions together. That is 200 multiplied by 80 multiplied by 60. Now when we multiply 200 with 80 and 60, we get 960,000, and the unit is centimeter cube. Now if you want to convert this in meter cube, you can divide it with 1 million. That's your choice. Now for the next one, we need to find the surface area, and this time for surface area we will be using a formula, as we have seen in the previous question how we solved for the areas and then added all the areas. So here we will be directly using a formula. Surface area is equal to 2 into L multiplied by B, L multiplied by B plus B multiplied by H plus H multiplied by L. This is the formula that we will be using. Now let's put the values. 2 into length here is 2 is 200. So let's take this as the length. That is 200 centimeter is the length. 200, right? The longest one. Now the breadth here is, for example, the breadth is 80. The breadth is 80 and plus 80, and the height is this one 60. The height is 60. The height is 60 and the length is again 200, right? Now let's solve this. 2 into 200 multiplied by 80. 200 multiplied by 80 will give you 16,000. 80 multiplied by 6 is 5,400, and 60 multiplied by 200 is 12,000, right? Now let's add these three numbers together. That is 16,000 plus 5,400 and plus 12,000, and this will give us 33,400. And when you will multiply this number with 2, you will get 66,800, right? So the unit is in centimeter square. Now we have to tell the we had to tell the surface area. So the surface area is equal to 66,800 centimeter square. Now again, if you want to convert it into meter square, you will divide it with 10,000, which is when it's asking you for conversion, you can convert it. Otherwise, it is fine to take this as the final answer. Now in this question again, we are asked to find the volume and surface area of cube whose edge is 1.5 meter. This time we are asked the surface area of a cube, right? Now for the cube, we have the volume as volume is equal to 1.5 multiplied by 1.5 multiplied by 1.5, because in case of cube the dimensions are the same. So 1.5 multiplied 3 times will give you 3.375 meter cube, right? So this will be 3.375 meter cube. Now for the area, now for the surface area, the formula for a surface area of cube is 6L squared. So what we will do is we will multiply 6 with the length squared. The length is 1.5 and 1.5 square will give you 1.5 square will give you 1.5 multiplied by 1.5, which is 2.25. And when you multiply 2.25 with 6, you will get 13.5 meter squared, which is the required answer. Coming to the last question, question number 12. 3 metallic solid cubes with edges of this, and this are melted and recast into new solid cube. We have to find the volume and surface area of the new cube. So for finding the surface area and volume of the new cube, we need to find the combined volume of these three. So volume of first cube will be, the volume of the first cube is 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3, which is 27 centimeter cube, and the volume of second cube will be 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4, which is 64 centimeter cube, and the volume of third cube will be 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5, which is 125 centimeter cube. And for finding the total volume of these three cube when melted together, we will sum them, and when you will sum 27, 64 and 125, you will get 216 centimeter cube. Now we have to find the surface area, and surface area is equal to 6L square. Now we don't know the length, but we can tell the length by using this volume. See, the volume is 216, and the formula for volume of cube is L multiplied by L multiplied by L. Now which three numbers when multiplied together give you 216? 6 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 6 is that number which gives you 216 when multiplied together. So that means the length is 6. So we will take the square of 6. 6 squared is 36, and 6 multiplied by 36 will give you 216 centimeters square. So that means the surface area is also 216, but the unit will be centimeters square, and for the volume it's 125 centimeter cube. So dear viewers, thank you so much for watching. Hope you liked the video. I know it was long, but it will be very useful for you. Thank you so much for watching. Do like, subscribe and share my channel with your friends. Bye bye.